Welcome to today's On This Day in Tudor History with me, Claire Ridgway, a self-confessed Tudor nut, author of several Tudor history books, and I also run the Tudor Society as well. So where am I taking you today? Well, I'm actually taking you to 1581. For On This Day in Tudor History, the 2nd of August 1581, in the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, Protestant Richard Atkins was burnt to death. Now you might think that didn't Catholics get executed in Elizabeth's reign? Well, yes, you would be right in thinking that. But Atkins was not executed in England. We have the bells ringing out for Atkins there. He wasn't executed in England. This Protestant martyr was burned in Rome, before St. Peter's in Rome. Now, it is said that as Atkins was taken to St. Peter's to meet his death, as he was escorted to the site of his execution, his back and breast were burned by men holding torches. His right hand was then cut off, and they made sure that they burned his legs first to prolong his suffering so that he'd have a sort of very long and drawn out death. But how on earth did this Englishman end up suffering this way in Rome? Well, in his 1582 book, The English Roman Life, which was published just a year after Atkins' execution, Anthony Munday recounts Atkins' alleged crimes in a chapter that he dedicates to Atkins. He explains that Herefordshire man Atkins had travelled to Rome and that he went straight to the English college there. Now, the English college was a seminary, a Catholic seminary, so it was responsible for educating priests, for ordaining priests, and then sending them back to England on missions to convert people back to what they viewed as the true religion. So he went straight to the English college and told the priests there that he had come to rebuke the great misorder of your lives. And he then went on to call the Pope, who was the head of their church, the Antichrist. So very strong language, and you can imagine the horror of these priests having this man come to visit them and telling them that. And unsurprisingly, the college reported Atkins to the Inquisition, who then apprehended him and examined him, but actually went on to release him. However, Atkins wasn't going to keep quiet regarding his feelings on the Catholic faith. He obviously felt that he needed to speak out in Rome against the Catholic faith. And Munday records that Atkins met a priest in the street. The priest was carrying the sacrament, and that Atkins' conscience was offended by this. And when he saw the people crouching and kneeling to it in worship, he became even more offended by what was going on. And he tried to grab the sacrament so that he could throw it to the floor, but he completely missed when trying to grab it. And so he got away with it. But he wasn't content to let things lie. Munday goes on to write, "A few days after, he came to St. Peter's Church, where divers gentlemen and others were hearing mass, and the priest being at the elevation. He, using no reverence, stepped amongst the people to the altar and threw down the chalice with the wine, striving likewise to have pulled the cake out of the priest's hands. For which divers rose up and beat him with their fists, and one drew his rapier and would have slain him. So that in brief, he was carried to prison, where he was examined wherefore he committed such a heinous offence. Whereto he answered that he came purposely for that intent, to rebuke the Pope's wickedness and their idolatry. Upon this he was condemned to be burned, which sentence he said he was right willing to suffer, and the rather because the sum of his offence pertained to the glory of God." Now, as Munday states, Atkins was imprisoned and he refused to recant his beliefs. He was willing to be martyred for his beliefs and for speaking out against the Catholic Church. Monday records his death. Within a while after, he was set upon an ass without any saddle, he being from the middle upward naked, having some English priests with him, who talked to him, but he regarded them not, but spake to the people in so good a language as he could, and told them they were in a wrong way, and therefore willed them for Christ's cause to have regard to the saving of their souls. All the way as he went, there were 4 that did nothing else but thrust at his naked body with burning torches, whereat he neither moved nor shrunk one jot, but with a cheerful countenance laboured still to persuade the people, often bending his body to meet the torches as they were thrust at him, and would take them in his own hand and hold them burning still upon his body, whereat the people not a little wondered. Thus he continued almost the space of half a mile till he came before St. Peter's, where the place of execution was. When he was come to the place of execution, there they had made a device, not to make the fire about him, but to burn his legs first, which they did, he not dismaying any whit, but suffered all marvellous cheerfully, which moved the people to such a quandary as was not in Rome many a day. Then they offered him a cross, and willed him to embrace it in token that he died a Christian. But he put it away with his hand, telling them that they were evil men to trouble him with such poultry. When he was preparing himself to God, whom he beheld in majesty and mercy, ready to receive him into the eternal rest. Sorry, I didn't read that very well. But he put it away with his hand, telling them that they were evil men to trouble him with such poultry when he was preparing himself to God, whom he beheld in majesty and mercy, ready to receive him into the eternal rest. They, seeing him still in that mind, departed, saying, "Let us go and leave him to the devil whom he serves." Thus ended this faithful soldier and martyr of Christ, who is no doubt in glory with his Master, whereto God grant us all to come. Amen. Now, Atkins had not only been viewed as a heretic, Atkins had attacked the Catholic Church and its doctrines in its holy city in Rome. Not a wise move. But then this man wanted to save people's souls by pointing out the error of their ways. And he'd gone to Rome specifically to do this. He talks about how he had gone to Rome to do that. And on the way to his execution, he was still pointing out the error of people's ways and calling them to convert. And he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was willing to die for it. So you have to admire someone that has such a strong faith. So poor Atkins, who was martyred in the city of Rome in the reign of Queen Elizabeth I on this day in Tudor history. Sorry to leave you on such a gloomy note, but perhaps it'll be a happier event tomorrow. I can't promise, I'm sorry. Anyway, you can subscribe to this channel by clicking around about there. You can give this video a like if you've enjoyed it. You can hit the bell to be notified as videos go live. And I really do appreciate you following this channel and my talks. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.